upcoming battle for Garama, the city governor is safely ensconced in the most secure part of the city. He is accompanied by a starving, dwindled garrison, making it clear that our far-sighted plan to wage war on their food supply has clearly borne fruit. However, he is not alone in the misfortune, and two similarly starved armies are marching to his protection. They are coming in from the north and the south as shown on the campaign map. The northern army is small and shall be allowed to enter the city to join the garrison unmolested. We cannot afford to split up our troops at this stage. The second army is significant, and we shall interpose our army between them and the beleaguered city garrison. This enemy general on horseback and his companion cavalry shall be moving faster than the accompanying infantry. This will crash on our heavy infantry line, leading to his quick demise. The enemy infantry, once it reaches our line, shall be pinned in place as we pelt it with murderous projectile fire from the flanks. Meanwhile, our cavalry shall swoop down on their projectiles before they pull off any shots. Under fire, their general dead, friends routing, this incoming army shall be eliminated down to the last man. Our raider cavalry shall start setting fires to the city to undermine enemy morale and stop them from thinking clearly. Fire in their bellies, and their cities shall work together to exacerbate their already precarious situation. We shall then manually fire our mercenary onager to create a breach in their walls and create a safe zone for our infantry to storm the city. We shall punch through the garrison and the northern army, finally reaching the enemy stronghold. The city governor shall be utterly surrounded and either put to flight or to the sword. The city garrison shall be eliminated once we win the battle, so it does not require any special mop-up attention. Why do we need to follow such a clinical procedure? If these two armies and the garrison are all simultaneously eliminated, then once we raise the city, the Garamantian faction shall be completely eliminated. This shall permanently secure our Saharan front in the African theatre, freeing up resources and armies for deployment to the most peaceful place on earth, the Balkans. Ladies and gentlemen, lovers of war, traders of great renown, I, the Strategic Indian, bid you welcome to my channel, where our motto is think, practice thinking. If you like the content, please do not forget to like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment, which will greatly help with the almighty YouTube algorithm. Alright, Battle of Garama, let's go. Enough strategizing. So that's a small army and the large army in addition to the city garrison. So we have already started to move into position outside of the city. As you can clearly see, this is phase 1. We deploy beyond the range of their towers and that ballista that you can see over there. Our own mercenary onager is safely ensconced behind. I'm actually trying to think of where I should put my cavalry, on which flank, whether it should guard my projectile units or should I have them on the flanks to catch any of their horses if they get by, because so now the general is coming in, as we can clearly see, and they're coming in on the side where the cohorts are, so cohorts don't take charges that well. However, this unit of the general is quite battered, and if my own emperor is going to be forward to support, that will probably be enough. So let's move forward the emperor. Meanwhile, the cohorts are going to start to throw their projectiles as soon as The general is quite nearby. I hope we can kill the general in this. The general is turning, so there goes our boys. We are throwing their pili at the general. The general is coming into charge. So at the very last moment, I'll put on stationary testudo for the cohorts, and our general takes a. Oh man! Oh, what is this clown college?
God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
Oh, this was terrible. I really didn't think the general would lose that many troops. I have to move in my desert spears to protect. Oh, this was really bad. He's been losing the combat against, I don't know, even 40 or something horses. Yeah, let's buff everybody. Let's okay, this is just the beginning of the battle, and if this is morning shows the day, this has been a clown college hit. My god, what was that? So now another one comes in, but yeah, we got the general. So yeah, at least the tactics were not good, but the strategy worked. Oh man, our cohorts are taking another charge. Have to move the desert spears to protect. Meanwhile, their general, which has got very few people, is trying to pull some shenanigans. So I'll have to keep an eye out for him. And I can clearly see that what is going on? This is completely unacceptable. Their lancers went through our cohorts and then they are attacking our combatants' spears at the back. What is this? What is this? There is like 5 people left in that unit. Oh no, and our projectiles are firing. So we'll get a little bit of friendly fire. This is not good. Anyways, their camel cavalry is coming in diamond formation. Our cohorts are in stationary testudo with desert spears guarding them. So yeah, this charge they could not go through. So this is what Roman heavy infantry is supposed to do, and it completely stopped the charge. And now we will throw in our remnant desert spears to support. And this was, yeah, this is really uncalled for. Our projectiles are a bit out of range, so we're going to move them out. And what I notice now is that most of their infantry are actually swords against our spears, so that's not going to be good. That morning shows the day, and the way that our general got that gigantic hit, our god emperor got a complete Horus heresy hit on the face. He got lost half of his people within seconds. Anyways, their archers and slingers are now getting into position, so I'll have to move people around a bit so that I don't get sneak attacks. Even that camel lancer went through. It's trying to run away. So now I'll open up my projectiles to fire, because I really have had enough. Their cavalry really gave me a far worse day than I wanted, and now our combatant spears are going to start taking forming a stationary testudo to take these hits, because I want them to waste their ammunition. It's very important that we get this cavalry out of action, because yeah, even with one unit left, they can pull off some smart charge on us. Well, all of their cavalry is now gone, so that's good. And now the projectiles are going to move into the range and on the parallel. So this is phase 5. We are going to start to donate our projectiles, and this I view as a C+ donation. The reason is that our line is still not as strong, because we have a bunch of spears against their cohorts, because those are desert mercenary defectors, which are basically cohorts. So spears are not going to do as well against swords. One unit of General's bodyguard unit is still doing a run. This is crazy. I don't know what it was. This is not good. Our projectiles are walking a little bit funny, so I'll have to pull them back. The reason I can't do any charges over here very easily is because cohorts come with the complement of pili. So those mercenary desert defectors are going to really give our horses a bad day, or any other unit which is in range. So if our projectiles move in too close, then they can let go of one volley which will be really bad. So right now I'm keeping my horses as standby. They are throwing a few of their own javelins which they carry. Meanwhile, we have got a gigantic blob of infantry which has formed, and it's not very good because our left flank isn't doing as well. The general got busy because he had to get that bodyguard unit. Meanwhile, their mercenary what are these units? Their cohorts, basically. I'm going to call them their cohorts, not our cohorts, but their cohorts. So, and these guys are coming in to basically throw their pili at our projectiles. Meanwhile, one of their cohorts are going for our horses, trying to catch up with our horses. And if they do catch up with our horses, that's going to be GG. One of our slingers got hit pretty bad, but we are going to now open up the rest of the slingers to open fire. Meanwhile, our horses will have to go in and do a hammer and anvil on this blob of cohorts which we have arrested in place. I would ideally like them to be actually attacking their slingers, but I noticed that their slingers and archers don't have that many people, so they won't be even doing as much damage even if they get shots off. The main danger that we have right now is that their infantry line is actually far more competent than I actually had planned for. They magically just got so many mercenary cohorts that this army which we have over here, which is essentially all competency spears, because that's all I can train over here. This army is basically not the person for the job. But we'll have to do with the army we have and not the army that we wish we have. That's an old adage in war. So our God Emperor is fighting. Our desert raiders are giving war cries, because we have to make sure that our God Emperor is not killed. The God Emperor is already buffing. We are throwing any and all units which are coming back into the fight. Our projectiles are moving to fire on that other unit of cohort which is trying to desperately catch us, catch our desert raiders in the back. Also, they don't even just have to engage them in melee. Because they have those pili, they can go and attack and really give a very bad day to our horses, because our horses are held in place. This is a very dense mass of infantry and of cavalry. So I will have to break this line. That's why I'm using my slingers to basically try to go and destroy this unit of cohorts which is desperately trying to come up. So it's throwing its projectiles. As we can see right now, our horses are going to take some losses. Apparently I don't think there is much we can do about it. Meanwhile, our infantry line is basically not doing very well because of the reasons that we discussed. This is not good. This is why I told already in the last episode, this is going to be one clown college fight. Oh man, it's by the time this is going to be over, no amount of enthusiasm and no amount of memory is going to save this Western Roman Empire army. So as soon as this fight is done, I just have to make sure that I win, because they will get eliminated if I follow the plan which I outlined in the beginning. And that's essentially what I need from this army. This army has no more function, because I don't expect the Eastern Roman Empire to attack the Saharan front. The entire Saharan front is going to be freed up after today, because the Gituli, the Morians and the Garamantians right now are all going to be eliminated. Therefore, there is no need to keep any armies in the Saharan sector at all. So all of Africa will have no more armies, because we are able to manage the rebellions which are going to keep popping up. We are still very much in the early game. The first 20 turns have not yet finished, and therefore we still have a long way to go before we stabilize public order. Right now we are just forming a cocoon against this brave unit of cohorts of theirs, which is fighting on despite all odds. It's outnumbered, I think 10-1, but still fighting. Our God Emperor is in a lot of trouble, but he is buffing. But luckily the battle is turning. If the battle was not turning, then we would have the issue that our Emperor might have gotten killed. This took a lot more than I would have wanted. We have got now 3 units of very battered Comitatense spears. We have got 2 units of very battered desert spears. Our general is more or less a spent force, because I don't think he can enter fights at this stage, because if we lose the general for whatever reason, we won't be able to win. Right, we are now going to send out our cavalry. Our raider cavalry is going to go and start throwing torches. So let's go in and have a look. This was very competently done, if I might say so myself. I had 3 of these units which can do the job, so I was moving them all micromanaging, so that they are always setting fire to different parts of the city. Meanwhile, my mercenary onager is moving forward out of range of their towers, of course, because the towers are super accurate. There we can see the raiders are throwing torches and they're setting fire to the city. So any part of the city which is outside of their walls is fair game. We are going to try to set fire to the maximum number that we can. Now let's begin phase 8, which is also textbookly done. It takes 2 shots to destroy these kinds of towers. So desert factions have 2 kinds of towers. There are these ones, which are the thin one, and then they also have the thick towers. The thin towers take 2 shots, and I believe that the thick towers take 7 or 8 shots. So 2 shots, so I have to make them count. Therefore I do the firing manually. I'm going to take out both of these towers, and then I'm going to take out there. One of the towers is down. We're going to move forward, because the nearer you are, the better chance you have of hitting something. So there goes the other ones on the other thin tower. That is going to slowly isolate and give us a place to actually pull off the fighting that we have to do with this very depleted army. So this depleted army cannot go and stand under any tower, because that will be basically GG for them. Meanwhile, that is why we are creating this kind of a safe zone. We are now going to start knocking down a section of the wall. We don't have any foot projectiles having substantial amount of ammunition, because this particular fight really took a lot out from underneath us. This was not the amount of damage that I was actually looking forward to, and this was far more damage. So I've knocked down one section of the wall. It typically takes 7 to 8 shots to take down wall sections, and now we are going to start firing at these horses of the northern army, or the second army which came in. Our foot projectiles are also donating. Now they are standing in a bunch of shrubbery, which is which is very advantageous to us, because if we fire a shot, whoever that shot falls on is going to die, definitely. But because they are standing in shrubbery, the shrubbery is going to catch fire, and whoever is standing in the part of the shrubbery which has caught fire, they also catch fire and die. So I actually had once taken a shot on a bunch of exploratories from my bastion onager, and I could manage to kill 70 of them this way in one shot. That had been the most successful shot I think I have ever taken. So unfortunately I didn't record, I didn't have a YouTube at that time. So that is apparently lost to posterity, but trust me, that actually happened. Now, we are going to start the assault on the town defenders, and the outcome is going to be absolutely Stalingrad levels of casualties. So really, no memes, no disrespect. This was a great fight that the defenders put up. I have knocked down one section of the wall, and I'm going to knock the gates down so that I can enter the city from both ends. The plan was to make two holes so that I can do a flank if I so choose. However, what I don't have right now are numbers. My infantry is so badly battered at this point. Their morale is low. The only thing that has it going for them is because the God Emperor is with them and he can rally the troops. So we are moving in for the charge, and their general immediately charges out. If we are able to kill the second general, then he has a very small army. However, that will give a moral debuff. The first army which came in, which was the Eastern Army, has been completely wiped off the map. So I went in and I killed every last one of them till they had less than 10 people in a unit left. And now we are going to begin the solemn affair of this fight. I really have a lot of respect for the Garamantians for this fight that they did. This, of course, they do end up losing, but yeah, there was no loss. Both of us lost, and what we had is just that the reason we won this fight is because we had taken out their farms. We had broken down Cimadas. So right now, as you can clearly see, our infantry is not doing as well. We tried to go through the gate. They pushed us back from the gate. So that was heroic, how the Garamantians fought. The remnants of our cavalry, after having set fire on the city, are coming into fight. We have yet to capture the gate, so we can't move very much inside the city as we so choose. The general is being kept out of the fight because I cannot lose him at this point. I am doing charges with the cavalry and getting out as soon as their infantry is coming in. Their infantry have done an exceptional job. This is what I want from each and every one of my soldiers, but not from the enemy, and that's what actually happened. They fought like lions today. Let it be known that people don't fight as lions, they fight as Garamantians. They fought like heroes. This I've always been sarcastic about the enemy. I bring out my really small violin whenever I find a chance. However, today there shan't be any small violins. Well, there might be. There might be a possibility of a really small violin sometime, but it depends on how I feel while editing, because look at them holding this gap. Our one of our cavalry is going to start doing a charge on their desert tribesmen, which are a sword unit. I am trying to charge their desert levy or their spear unit, just in case I can push them with momentum, because they don't have as many troops, but it doesn't work out. I lose way too many horses. Like right now I'm losing horses, and both of my cavalry are more or less depleted. These are raider cavalry, so I do have an option of running inside the city with my cavalry and start setting fire onto buildings. However, they still have quite a lot of towers up, and as I said, their towers are super accurate. They are like Sniper International, and if I'm trying to go and set fire to cities, they are going to be able to basically destroy our horses. So I have to use the horses over here for local advantages. They have one unit of heroic desert levy, or one unit of that general who is down to the last man still standing and fighting. This is incredible. I have moved the God Emperor near to the fight. He is not fighting. He is in mobile testudo at the back, and given his presence, he is inspiring his men to come back to the fight. So we are charging with our horses on this one desert levy spears trying to just use our momentums against him. We have set fire to a large amount of their city. As you can see on the top, it shows that the city is orange in destruction, so probably I've destroyed 30% or more of their city has caught fire, which is of course going to lower their morale, it's going to lower their attack power and their defensive power. Both our horses are running right now, so that's no good. So I think what I will have to do is I have to move the general to do the fighting against this particular unit of infantry, because yeah, he's sitting there, he's confident, 30% of his city has caught fire. So I need some kind of an infantry to hold their desert levy in place while this last unit of my desert raiders can pull off one charge. I'm going to throw in my desert bowman unit to catch this desert levy in a stationary fight, because I don't have any infantry at this point. Our infantry is beginning to run. They are tired. We have got one unit of comitatency spears and one unit of desert spears, which are trying their best to basically open up and to get us through this breach. Their general is finally running. My god, what was this? I have to make sure that I kill this general down to the last man, because if this unit gets away, then this army is going to completely survive, because they will get a fresh general unit which can then yeah, it can either run into the desert, taking me in a wild goose chase, and after the battering that my army got, this army needs to get disbanded. Our desert raiders are coming in for a fight. Come on, my children, let's hold. My desert bowmen are holding their levy in a anvil, and here comes the hammer, and we have driven them right at the back. Look at those houses are on fire, and they are continuing to fight. This is really an epic Stalingrad level battle. I'm now going in and checking to ensure that their general is not amongst the horses which are running away, because I only get one intimation once their general runs away. Is killed. So the first general of the Eastern Army got killed, so we got a notification. However, we won't be getting any more notifications, but the general has definitely been killed, because I can see only bodyguard units of theirs which are running away. Now we are going to break down this barricade and start to move towards the more or less the final phase of the Battle of Garamantians, whereby we are going to take out their general, who is safely ensconced in the middle of the city. What we will have to do at this point is that we will have to use the only strength that we have right now is our large number of slingers and that desert bowmen that we have. So what I will try to do is I will try to run them so that we can basically maybe try to capture the center just by sitting in that star-shaped area. So the part of the city which you have to capture, so that you can get the city under your own control. So we are still fighting against that last one unit of desert levy, which is still refusing to give up. So I'm forming a kind of a cocoon. I'm moving my desert bowman back, because there is no point. He will never be able to kill off that desert levy if my cavalry could not, after a full charge in the back. With this amount of the city destroyed, then there is no chance that my bowmen with little daggers are going to take on these spear wielding desert levies. So right now we are going to charge in, we are going to form a cocoon. Even the emperor will get thrown in because our infantry, I will still need to kill off their general. If their infantry is acting up at this level, giving me such Stalingrad level losses, then I'm also very worried what this very depleted army shall be able to do, given that we really don't have numbers on our side. Therefore, what are we going to do is we're going to move everybody up. We are going to try to capture. So what we're going to try to do is we are going to try to sneak in our projectile, our foot projectiles, to the capturable area of the city and try to just capture the flag and win by default, because I cannot kill off this general, not with the numbers that I have. Be very careful when you are in a position like this, where the last unit remaining is the general, because he can sometimes choose to charge. Therefore, I'm keeping my infantry very nearby, and we are now going to start running our projectiles around the site so that they can enter the final stronghold. Therefore, the infantry's main goal will be to either try to hold the king in place so that he doesn't go and charge the projectiles, because if they charge my projectiles, that's GG for them. It's lights out. These are real clown college graduates. This entire battle, what is this? This whole battle, my god. I'm really tempted to take out my really small violin. I'm just not doing it out of the respect for my opponent over here. So I'm not going to charge the general with my infantry at this point. So I'm keeping them over here for a particular reason. That is that, one, they are very tired because they have to run from the city inside to over here, plus they have to go up an incline, and if the general charges down the incline on this kind of army that we have with 47 and 28 people in a unit, that's going to be game over. You saw the charge that the general took, and this will be far worse. So therefore I'm putting my Comitatense spears forward, because they still have a stationary testudo which can work against charges, and I'm keeping my general nearby who will arrest any horses that come through the stationary projectiles. Meanwhile, our desert spears, they cannot have any special formation. So they will stand with a spear and the shield. They have expert charge defense, so the more they fight, the better they get at standing in front of horses. But they don't form any kind of a shield wall. They don't form any kind of a testudo. So they are not as good as taking charges. However, if they are behind a stationary testudo, which I do have over here, then what you have is that they are actually going to take out any of the horses which leak through the stationary testudo. So in the terrible movie by Jack Snyder called The 300, I mean, it's good cinematographically, but it's a terrible movie based on historical facts. Let's just face that. Let's agree on that. So, okay, the general, I mentioned Zack Snyder. What is this? They are charging our our projectiles. Run! Run! Don't stay there. Run! Go stand under a tower. Try to capture the towers. Meanwhile, our infantry is now going to get up this incline, because that incline I was really scared of, and they are going to now go and take up positions inside this capturable part. Of course, I will be very careful so that I don't get charged from my flanks. Therefore, my general will be in mobile testudo. Meanwhile, our projectiles are going to just get hit by a lot of this accurate fire. This is really not good. However, we don't have a choice. We cannot move into the citadel with the general awake and running, because then, yeah, he will eat all of these projectiles for breakfast. Meanwhile, our infantry is now moving in and trying to take up positions so that they can start to engage the general in the best part that they so choose. So let's move in, let's make hay while the sun shines. Alright, so man, the way I storytell, I think it's a storytelling style known as Alzheimer's. Anyways, so what I was saying is that in that terribly historically inaccurate movie, as I was saying, in that terribly inaccurate movie, you had the 300 Spartans. What they were doing is that they would have the units in the front which would absorb the charge, and then the guys who are in the back, their main function was to push. Basically, that's all you do in a phalanx. So that is what I'm doing over here. The Combatant Tensei is going to take the charge head on because it is the most competent unit to do so, because it has a stationary testudo ability. Meanwhile, the Desert Spears, which are right behind, are going to make sure that they are going to push, and whatever unit comes through, they are going to ensure that that unit does not go through, because once that formation is completely broken up, then cavalry can really chew through my infantry. But that is why we are stacking units at this point, trying our best to ensure that we can basically win against this general. There is no grand ambitions at this point. They have really ground us down to Stalingrad levels of casualties. This is essentially what heroes are made out of. My God, look at the amount of our entire cavalry is gone. Our beautiful line of projectiles has just been reduced to going to stand under towers, bringing their daggers out, trying to poke at this last remaining unit. And now we are moving towards the very last phase, which is to capture the city and take it for ourselves. Thank our strategy that we went for burning down Cymedas and ensuring that they were down in strength. If this was a full strength army, then I don't know, I don't think I would be able to beat this army. What I would then do is actually I would go in for the night fight. So then what I would do is I would night fight the garrison, which is easily destroyed by this gigantic army which I would bring, and then I would burn down Garama. So then this is an empire, so they have to have control of a city, so they will start taking attrition. And then I would take out those other two armies. Of course, those other two armies would come in before they got attrition damage, but though that army I would be able to take, just like I took this particular army. So there.
Ready for orders.
Army of the Garamantians is gone, and so has their memory. They shall never return. We have set fire to the Sahara, and the Sahara is burning. This has been the Strategic Indian, signing out.